Let's try to understand what happened in the last few days. Despite the great excitement, there are still some misunderstandings, or at least miscommunication between the parties. The News Today's diplomatic correspondent Ellie Hochenberg with those core gaps between world powers and Tehran.
There were many doubts regarding the actual chance of Western powers to reach any nuclear agreement with Iran, but last Thursday, history was made as the parties announced their success.
This framework is the result of tough, principled diplomacy. It's a good deal, a deal that meets our core objectives, including strict limitations on Iran's program and cutting off every pathway that Iran could take to develop a nuclear weapon.
But are the celebrations premature? Different versions of the interim agreement indicate there are gaps in the parties' perceptions. Well, for the U.S., sanctions relief will be done gradually, lifted according to Tehran's compliance with the terms. For Iran, all sanctions will be lifted once a final agreement is sealed. The U.S. says Iran's uranium enrichment will be limited for 15 years. Tehran says it's 10 years. Iran does not mention inspections or access to facilities in its fact sheet, but says that for the sake of transparency and confidence building, it would implement an additional protocol on access to its nuclear facilities on a voluntary and temporary basis. While the U.S. insists Iran will use only older versions of the centrifuges, Iran's fact sheet describes an agreement to use the more advanced versions, as well as continue its research and development on advanced machines.
If Iran cheats, the world will know. If we see something suspicious, we will inspect it. So this deal is not based on trust. It is based on unprecedented verification.
If for Obama, trust is not the issue, Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif seems to be using more blunt rhetoric.
All United Nations Security Council resolutions related to Iran's nuclear program will be lifted immediately if a final deal is reached. The Americans put what they wanted in the fact sheet. I even protested this issue with Kerry himself. They realized they can't shut down Iran's nuclear program.
Whether each side is now simply selling the framework agreement to its own people, trying to look like the winning side, or whether there are still crucial misunderstandings, there's a long way to go until a final, historic deal.